So I spend most of my time running around working on, issues here and there. And that's part of how Amy and I have structured our life. She's a midwife. She makes, for what, for us is a good, solid income. We live in the hood and don't owe a whole lot on our house. I've got a rundown old shop on Chelsea. When I do make money, I make enough money in one chunk that we get to invest in something good that then further diminishes our cost of living. So we just live a very simple lifestyle. And I'd be a full-time counselor. And I wouldn't just be like going to luncheons and shaking hands here and there. I'd be out in the schools talking to kids, playing ball with them, working it, running my chainsaw in neighborhoods, cleaning them up, That's what I do anyway. Do it more. Okay. And I'd get like health benefits too. I'd be like doing all the same stuff I do anyways, but I don't.
Okay, Scott, I'm going to circle back around. Sorry to do this to you, but back when you were talking about, we asked you about the top 3 things about education. You're talking about de facto segregation and lack of participation in education testing. I look on your website. I do not see anything about public education on there.
I was thinking about all the things I need to post on my website when I was on my way down here today. I literally just started throwing all that stuff up on there on Sunday. So what I'll do is, I'll put up some stuff about education, and I'll go ahead and send you all like the, link to that front page.
So when I see your signs too, I see,
there's no education.
There's no education on there.
How do I put it on there though?
I'm not going to tell you right now.
But,
because
this is what I'm up against. In my district, there's a huge number of people who are very sold on the idea of charter schools. There is a huge number of people within the African American community that are engaged in private school options. So I'm not, it's kind of like the union issue. Like, even though I would have all, union members know that I totally stand with them, there's, in some circles, an irrational resentment of union employees. It's very unfortunate, but so I'm trying to put my sign like not fights anything. But what can I say about? Education, more money, more money, public school.
So I guess how, and I'm going to ask you this question specifically. I got to find it here.
Well, speaking of the more money, what would you do, say you're elected, how would you help resolve kind of this ongoing city schools, city council funding crisis? How would you kind of help address that in the upcoming years, and also looking at the back money that's owed and the different countersuits and things? What would your role in that be?
I think that I'd advocate loudly that the city do what's right in terms of monies that are owed from past years, that they drop their counterclaim because A, it's so long ago, and B, that was kind of like what I was talking about earlier, where the city council could, out of magnanimity, say, hey, our schools suck because they don't have air conditioners. Let's hook our kids up. That's something they can do as a capital improvement that doesn't necessarily mean that they've contributed to the annual operating budget of the school, and so I think it gets them out of that maintenance of effort thing. And so we should drop that. And my role as a council person would be to be the voice of the public's desire for that to happen. I've seen the hall packed. I've been in that hall before when there was only like 6 people sitting in there. It's been full lately because you got union folk and, worried parents and, everybody coming together at the same time. But I think the public will is there to do it, that the council people have not been called out on the carpet about it sufficiently. And I think that having a council person up there that could serve to frame an argument in a way that doesn't allow them to duck their moral and ethical responsibility to our children. You know, I mean, that's what resolutions are for. But if a resolution says, man, this city council supports our children. Janice wants to do it. Janice and I were talking about that. Like, we're blowing money left and right on all kinds of stupid stuff, dude. And, like, kids are the most important thing. And we're losing all our good kids because we don't have good public education in this town. Almost every kid that does come up through public education ends up leaving, going, and moving to some other state, some other hip place that they wish Memphis was. Memphis could be if we invested in Memphis. Memphis could be one of those hip places that people want to go to, but instead we let all of our fledglings fly away.
What do you think are some short-term goals that we could set in Memphis? Maybe, let's say, 2 to 5 years. And then what may be some long-term goals we could start setting in Memphis, say 7 years, to get our city to what you're talking about, as far as a hit place to be, a place that companies would want to come to, and to see our schools provide what needs to be provided. What do you think some things what could be done? What could you do as a city council member to have that short term and then long term? What would those be?
Parks, amenities, social and cultural enrichment opportunities. You know, it's not hard to get people together to celebrate their humanity creatively. We're working on those things. We've got good people in this town working towards making Memphis a good place. Unfortunately, a lot of them are transplants as opposed to people who have come up here and decided to make it happen. We haven't been fueling our own fire to some extent. Again, it's one of those things that, you know, I could see that a city council's role could be creating, you know, outside of education, even creating a safer, more engaging, healthier environment in our neighborhoods. I'm a big proponent of people raising food locally, having farmers markets. You don't just have a farmers market because you want to have fresh produce there, but because it's also a place that people mingle and meet and share ideas, and local artisans and craftspeople can share their creativity, local musicians can share their music. We need to have a sense of community that makes us, each as individuals, but also as a greater community, reinvest in ourselves. The worst thing that I have seen in that regard since being in Memphis is the decline of the Mid-South Fair and its replacement by a semblance of itself that, you know, is not really a very good semblance, and this Delta Fair thing. We have no place in Memphis where we call each other out, or where we're called out together to share ourselves, expose ourselves, be accountable for ourselves. And so when we see decay happening in our neighborhoods or in our schools, there's just no accountability going on. You know, there's very few places where, you know, people are shamed for not being good people. So if we don't have participation in school, why do we not have participation in school? I know that I feel driven by my competition with the Joneses to be like the coolest parent, you know, and most, you know, as engaged or as, you know, contribute as much as I can. I mean, that's, you know, just like I, you know, like to be the best archer that I can be, or the best rock climber I can be, or the best server I can be. I want to be the best parent and citizen that I can be, but you have to have a culture of, and I think that's really Memphis is kind of lacking, is we just don't hold ourselves accountable in a public sphere, and it makes us slack and lazy. That's why we sit back and, you know, bitch and complain online forums, you know, but